He nicked himself again. I draw blood almost every day whenever I, my finger's bleeding. Hey y'all, welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. Yesterday evening, I got a deer, harvested a deer they call that. And I usually skin that right away, but me and Miss KK decided we're gonna make a video and show y'all how we skin these deer and quarter them too while we at it. And so that's what we're gonna do this morning. Grandma's getting our granddaughter ready. That's our first and only grandchild. Everybody say hello to Josephine. Hey Josephine. She's an outside baby. We've got a deer killed. So everybody, here at Louisiana Homestead, me and Miss KK, deer meat is one of our staple foods. I don't know, Miss KK, what you think? That's probably 75% of the meat that we eat is deer meat, I believe. So I've got a older brother and an older sister. I'm the baby in the family. And my mom and dad, when my brother was first born and they were young, they said their diet was mostly candy. And so they called my brother, the oldest one, they called him, he was the candy baby. And then when they had my sister later on, my daddy was hunting and most of the meat they ate was rabbit. So they called her the rabbit baby. And according to them, when I was born, they was living off of deer meat. And I guess I never quit. They called me the deer baby. So that's what we live off here a lot, because we live off the land as much as we can, me and Miss KK on Louisiana Homestead. So we're gonna skin this deer. If you guys are squeamish, because we got a dead animal, then you might want to turn it off. If not, y'all go with us and we're gonna show you how we live. I know some people have a different method. There's all kind of different methods of skinning deer, but I'm gonna show y'all the one that I've been doing. It works for me. My dad taught me, and let's go see what we can do. I'm gonna let Miss KK operate this camera. Okay, for me to see up close, I need to take my glasses off. And what I did, first of all, let you know it's a lot easier to skin a deer right after you kill it than it is to leave it. I left it hanging up. It's 30 degrees out here all night, so I didn't want to make a video at night because I figured it might not come out good. So I killed that deer yesterday evening. It's all legal. He's tagged. Everything's fine, and brought it home. And I didn't want to leave the internal organs in, the guts like we call it. I call it the guts. I didn't want to leave that in overnight. So I did a little bit already, and I'll explain what we got going on. This is a pretty big buck, y'all. He's an 8 or 9 point. I didn't even look good. We don't worry about horns here because we always say the horns make a weak gravy. So what I did, and what we always do, when you first want to, I usually gut them after I skin them. But like I said, I do all that at one time, and I didn't do that this time, so I could show you how to skin it. But what you want to do is take that skin off down here, and before you open up this cavity up here, I always take my meat saw. You take a knife and you split that skin, or it's already going to be skinned mostly in my case. And you want to open up that what you call that, baby?
Rib cage.
Rib cage, brisket, the brisket area. You want to open that up first so that when you start opening the top part up, when those guts fall out, you want to be able to get them all out. So you got to have your whole deer open. So that's what I did. I got that ready, and I'm gonna go on from there. It's kind of self-explanatory what I did there, but it's gonna be a little harder because this deer's been got kind of stiff. Like I said, everybody got a different method, and this is how we do it. So we're just gonna go and show you what we do. I'll let the work speak for itself. How's that, Mom?
Yep.
And you might think of some things that I'm leaving out, but this is how I usually get it done. This right here. I've got a saw.
So he got through the bones, and the saw's not so great with the skin, so he's going to use the knife on that part.
Right. This is real country living.
Yeah, and it's been done more than once.
I see them do this on YouTube channels all the time, so if YouTube says something about us, you know, I mean, this, when anybody that eats meat, there's an animal that got killed behind it. and I believe that's what our Heavenly Father put them here for. And we don't think there's anything wrong with it. What do you think, babe?
I agree.
All right, next thing I usually do is take the head off. This deer has an exceptionally big neck this time of year because their neck swells up for what we call the rut, and it gets big and muscular, and it makes a good roast. This one's so big you have to make 2 roasts out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, when you first kill the deer and you skin it, the skin comes off pretty easy because the body's warm. So I'm probably going to have a little trouble on this one. Might not be the best video to make to show you how to skin one, but I believe everybody get the idea. I say I might have a little trouble because it's a big mature buck, which means they're already tough to skin, and it's cold. It's been hanging up all night, so he's stiff, and that when it's cold, it just makes it a lot harder to pull that skin off. And I got a horrible shoulder, so but we're gonna get it. Sometimes I use the reciprocating saw to do this. And sometimes I use this meat saw. That hurt my shoulder.
I bet.
This guy is huge. We didn't weigh him, guys, in case somebody was cold. So the camera had a glitch and we stopped, and I don't know what I was talking about. I was getting his head cut off, saying sometimes I use the reciprocating saw and sometimes I use this. And I don't know which one's easier. But this deer neck, they swell up when it's cold during the rut. And that thing's big. Anyway, here we go. We got the head off.
That was a nice deer.
Yeah.
It really was.
And the next thing I usually do, when my daddy would skin them, he would make a perfect little cut like this down here. But I do things quick sometimes, and I wasn't worried about anything pretty. Not that my daddy was, but I found it was easier just to grab that skin like I'm doing, instead of just trying to make one little cut like this. It was easier just to grab it and just go with it. It was quicker because Mr. E always was trying to do things quick, which is good in one way, but sometimes it ain't.
Yeah. Especially when you're accident prone.
Right. That's probably one reason I have so many injuries. If I stop and think about it, it probably is. But that's what you want to do. You want to get that neck, the skin all the way down, which I don't have it all the way because I cut that head off right behind the horns almost. Get that skin cut all the way down, get it cut on the legs here, and then do the same thing up here. I think I was talking a while ago, and I didn't sharpen my knife as much as it needs to be, but it's all right. Well, what it is too, this skin is tough. These big bucks are tough. What's wrong, my baby?
She sees Izzy.
She's talking to Izzy.
He is. He's watching everything. She's waiting. Huh, Izzy?
What's the matter, my baby? You talking to us? Now here, you cut all the way back to the tail, past the rectum, and I'm gonna just cut that off. All right, we good?
Yep.
I'm gonna remove this. This is Mr. E's method of tagging them. I take my tags and I have it in a Ziploc bag because of rain and all that when you're hunting, or mud or blood. And I tag them like that. And I'm gonna just hang it right here. But now, because you're supposed to technically keep the tag on the deer here in Louisiana until it's processed. It's no longer, I think they say processed and identifiable as food or whatever. So basically after it's all skinned and dressed and cut up. So you're supposed to leave the tag with it, with the carcass while you're working with it, basically. So we're gonna
leave it with it right
we're
there.
gonna leave it with it. Camera's still working good, Mom?
Yep.
It does funny in the cold, huh?
Uh-huh. It don't like the cold a whole lot, I noticed.
Yeah, Mr. E's gonna have a little bit more trouble on this big mature buck. Not trouble, but it'll be a little tougher to skin. I can see that. And one problem is, that's why I like to skin them right away. But we made an exception this time so we can make this video in the daylight. One problem is I can't feel my fingers after I fool with this cold body carcass because it's cold out here, 30-something degrees. On a deer that's not as mature, like I said, or big and tough, that skin pulls off pretty easy. But here I'm just gonna have to kind of cut my way down every time, pulling and cutting like this. Yeah, we spared everybody the part where we gutted it.
Yeah.
It's not really a pleasant sight. None of this really is pleasant. It's not.
It's necessary.
I don't particularly enjoy killing them, but we need them to eat.
That's how we feed our family. So yeah.
I hate it when I have to kill my own chickens and sheep and goats. Hey, he's skinning a lot easier than I thought he would. What, my baby?
I can't keep up with you.
That's okay.
Mario.
Now it's gonna get a little bit tougher. Let me work on this knife, on this.
Okay. So you're gonna sharpen your knife a little bit?
Yeah, a little.
All right, we'll take a little quick. Okay, here we go.
We're just working that skin down. And the dogs are claiming their territory if they got a little piece of scrap meat or something out there.
Jack's pussy.
See, there's some little bit of pieces coming off right there.
Yeah, if you were saving the hide to tan, you wouldn't want no meat on it.
Yeah. Now this deer come out.
But we ain't doing that.
And was looking right at the stand, and I didn't have but a split second to shoot him. I made what's actually a the right kind of shot to kill him, because it I hate to mess up the shoulders. If I have a perfect shot, I shoot it behind the shoulders to keep from getting any damage to the shoulder meat where it just goes through the rib cage. But I had to do this quick, but it actually, most of this is just blood. It's because the bullet went through and through. I shot him with a 35 Whalen caliber. But it went through the rib cages, and it penetrated, it went through the heart. So he didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, they don't come out there and just stand there for a long time. You have to make a pretty quick decision.
It was very, very quick. It all happened real quick.
They're wild. It's not like on those resorts where they feed them and they just come and stand there.
No, the deer where we hunt, it's ingrained in them, I think, in their DNA from generations. These people in Louisiana go after these deer, and you don't see them in the daylight a whole lot like you do on a lot of these shows. And you know, these deer is wild. So
yeah, this is in the wild. This isn't on a resort.
They don't come out in the daylight as often as you would think. So when you get to see one like that, you've got to make your shot quick. Yeah, it went through part of the shoulder. There's no pretty way to do it. You can look inside the rib cage and you can see those yeah, I can't hold it open, but
No,
right here you can see where the bullet went through. But and it from the inside it looks like it just went through the rib cage, but it got part of this shoulder. But it might not be as bad as we think. A lot of that is just hemorrhaging, you know, blood that
is between the skin and
the membrane.
Yeah. We're gonna find out as we go.
I could pull on this more, but I'm trying to save my shoulder. But I'm gonna have to pull here in a little bit.
You getting there though?
The hardest place to get the skin off, usually the toughest part on these big bucks, is around the neck. You gotta kind of inch your way down. That's my experience with it anyway. So if you've seen us make sausage and ground meat before, this is what we do it with. And this is the process we have to go through. We have to hunt them, kill them, skin them, clean them, wrap them, debone them, grind them up. It's a process. And it all takes time and effort.
Yep, everything takes time. It's why you got to be so patient with everything you do and not get in a hurry.
That's right. You learn that as you get older, or at least
you should.
You should. That's the ideal thing. You not too cold, Mom? And the baby's happy?
Yeah.
Our granddaughter seems like she's the happiest when she's outside. Her mom and daddy doing a good job with her. We got her today. Her mom's going pin up cattle. They were hired to go, her and her daddy were hired to go pin up cattle, and maybe, I don't know what all, they usually, when they pin them up, they usually worm them and we call that working cows. Worm them, deworm them.
Yeah.
So that little Josephine there, she's growing up with her grandma and grandpa and mom and daddy raising all kind of animals and chickens and skinning deer and eating fish and homegrown chicken, and
Hold on.
she's gonna be a farm girl.
Hold on.
Go. Whenever I kill a deer and come back and hang it up and skin it and do everything all at one time, it probably takes less than an hour, huh, Mom,
Yep.
to hang it up, skin it, remove all the intestines and guts, and quarter it up and pack it on ice in less than an hour. But this one might take a tad longer, but maybe not. His skin's pretty, look at that huge neck. That is crazy. I'm always amazed when I see the necks on these big bucks. How big they can get. I don't know, if I had to guess, this deer, he weighed 200. Maybe a tad more, I don't know. He actually he's fat and healthy, but he's not as fat as he would have been just a few weeks ago, because they're in the rut. When you see them with a big neck, it's because they in full swing with the breeding season, and they usually lose a little weight chasing these does. But usually you can tell right here, it'll be a big thing of tallow, and he's lost that from chasing those does. But he's still fat and healthy. You see, I cut off some of that tallow right here. The dogs will eat some of that. So, and there's some fat in there. All right, the next thing that I usually do is spray this off and get some of this hair removed. If you're helping at home and you helping with cooking and stuff too, you realize, hey, don't just bring this in the house for somebody else to clean the rest of it. Clean it as good as you can now.
Thank you.
It makes a big difference, huh, Mom?
Oh, yes, it does.
I'm cutting off the shot part, basically. And like I said, a lot of this looks like it's shot and messed up, but it's not. It's just a bloody membrane, because it was a clean shot. It went through and through. I'll trim all that. The trimming and deboning comes later, so that's not part of this video, but I'm not going to be able to get the rest of that blood out until them shoulders are cut, and I'll have to trim it off. So I got two ice chests here. I got one, I'll probably put the upper part that has no blood and the bottom part that does have some blood, so I can work on that, the bloody part first, to trim all that off. Keep your meat good and fresh. All right, here's what I do next. I usually quarter them and take the neck off.
Are your hands cold?
Yeah.
Do you need to take a break?
No. Are we okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'll put me a little handhold here because all that meat's going to be cut off the bone anyway. You cut close to the rib cage, and you're going to get behind this shoulder blade. Tell you what, I'm gonna spray all that off while it's still hanging, while I can handle it.
Yeah, and while you can get that out of there.
Okay. I guess to show somebody how to skin one, it'd have been better to have a younger deer that was easier and maybe a cleaner deal, but this is reality. This is how it happens. So I'm not gonna be able to get that as clean as I want right now. That's gonna take some work inside. So we're gonna go ahead and continue what we're doing.
You got it cleaned up a good bit though from where it was.
And we got the shoulder.
Like you said, we can clean it up a little better
Oh, a lot
when
better.
we get to the next stage.
Right.
But right now we got to concentrate on quartering it and getting as much of the bad part, or undesirable parts off of it while we're doing that.
Cutting close to the rib cage, and you get behind the shoulder blade, you can kind of feel your way around with the knife.
Okay. So there's your two shoulders.
I'm gonna spray it off again. And we're gonna cut that neck off. A big neck. Good Lord, that thing is huge. I'm gonna make me a thumb hold here. Man, you talk about two roasts, huh, baby?
Yeah.
Sometimes we debone them for ground meat, and sometimes we make a roast. In this case, we can make a roast and debone some. Or a gravy. A deer neck gravy is delicious.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot to, because I did this isn't my normal process because I do it all at one time. I gut them after I skin them and all, but I forgot to keep cutting down the neck and get the esophagus out. Because I didn't complete that process last night whenever I gutted it.
You want to get that out of there. Okay.
So we're going to spray that again before I put it in the box. I don't know if the camera's going to do this justice to get the full size of that. You know, just looking at comparing it against me, my legs, or the, a 5-gallon bucket. Look at the size of that deer neck.
It's big.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what it weighs, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what it weighs either, but it looks like a lot.
It's not real bloody. I'm gonna put that part, well, I'm gonna put it here. Should have got the big ice chest. Because this is gonna be bloody too.
Yeah, that part probably needs to go in there.
A lot of times I'll do a lot of the trimming out here, but I don't want to make a big long boring video, so I'm gonna tend to all that trimming later. I gotta trim it anyway, so I'll just keep on going so you can see, so our viewers can see the how we complete quartering it. See, like this part, I call that the belly skirt. We usually trim that up and make, that goes in the ground meat.
Yeah, we're going to use as much of it as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Of the deer. We're not going to get rid of anything that's good meat.
Oh, no. And even the bloody parts that we say is, oh, well, that's messed up. You know, you trim off a little piece where it got shot or something.
Uh-huh.
The animals get to eat it.
Yeah, so none of it's going to waste.
Nope. The dogs get to eat. The chickens actually get to eat. All this tallow and stuff, they love that.
And it's good for them.
Good for them. Okay, the next step that I usually do is I cut the back strap out at this point. And I might turn it or the deer around because if you want to catch that on video, because the sun's shining bright on us, and that way you can go at a different angle without having the sun messing you up.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they can see that part. How's your battery life? You good?
I'm at 22%.
There we go again. You can tell the old electrician using Romex wire to tie everything up.
It works good for a lot of stuff. Okay.
There's the back strap. We're gonna follow this backbone down, feeling it with my knife. The deer's still stiff. And it's about like filleting a fish. You just feeling you cutting up against the bone. That back strap is what we call it. And you can make gravy or roast or anything with it, but boy, you can make some chicken fried steak type stuff. Fried deer meat, fried back strap. I think that's most people's favorite on this deer. And believe it or not, on these big deer, they are usually very tender. Now, babe.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. That's one of the family's favorite, is to eat that fried backstrap. And it's a shame. I've seen some people kill deer and cut just that off of them.
That's
that hurts
horrible.
my heart. I can't stand to see that. But we do not do that. We use the whole deer, as much of it as possible.
I have to take some clothes off.
You done warmed up moving around, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't have to have that on film, but it don't matter.
Okay. For some reason, when I cut backstrap, it's always rough on my hands. I can feel all the little spots that I have arthritis in my thumb, and I don't know what. My son said the same thing. It's just, for some reason, it's not an easy task.
It's tedious and detailed.
Because I'm gripping it. I don't know, but
maybe.
some of this is getting down to like, there's a fine line when you get here between neck meat and back strap, but I'll take care of all of that when I trim it inside, which would be a whole nother day. I'm gonna put this on top of here for now. It won't be in the bottom of the blood because that's gonna be full by the time I get those hams, we call it, the hind quarter in there. All right, look at this other back strap. Your battery's okay, Mom?
16.
Hmm?
Yeah, we're at 16% on the battery.
I'm feeling my way down that backbone so I don't waste no meat. Like I said, nothing waste. You can take this backbone and cut it up and make soup bones out of it.
Yeah.
But I typically let my dogs get some, and the chickens, believe it or not, they'll pick every little piece of meat on there.
They sure will. Chickens love meat. It's full of protein. It's good for
That's
them.
right.
They crave it evidently because they love it.
That was part of that belly skirt, basically.
But it sure comes out nice and clean when you get done with it. There's not really a whole lot left on that you're cutting it from.
Oh no.
But the chickens will pick it off, whatever's left on there.
I get the meat off so good. It ain't. It'd be a weak soup. We don't waste nothing.
Yeah. Try not to. It's coming off good. Doing a good job. Doing a real good job, but I mean, you always do.
Okay, the next step that I do is I cut that rib cage off. I make me a handhold. All this is going to be, a lot of people, even though they say everything on a deer, they claim, I know a lot of people they won't save the ribs. And it's just a shame, like we said.
It is. Deer ribs are good barbecued. That's actually my favorite ribs barbecued is deer ribs.
And if you don't do that, like we make ground meat, we get every little piece of everything off that we can. If you don't barbecue them or make a gravy or something, you got a big pile of meat when you debone all them ribs.
You would be surprised. It makes a lot of ground meat that comes off the ribs. It's very good to utilize all that and not waste it. It'd be a shame to waste it, really. It's good meat.
Now you can see where the where the bullet went through the rib cages. That one and this one, it's the same thing basically. What I forgot to do is take what I call this little tenderloin off before I cut I usually do that before I cut the ribs, but we'll get it in a minute. It's almost like a little small piece of back strap. And then there's a piece down here that I'm gonna get off. That is, that's why I'm trying to cut around it. I'm not used to making a video when I'm cleaning deer. I would have already had that cut off, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You on?
Yeah.
Well, Miss KK had to go put another battery, and I had to take another layer of clothes off and my hat off. While she was gone, in typical Mr. E fashion, I realized I had more blood on my hand than it looked like I should have. I didn't, it's nothing. It's a little bitty nick, but my hands were so cold I didn't know it, and I had blood all over. So Mr. E nicked himself again. I draw blood almost every day. Whenever I whenever I used to do electrical work, I'd get shocked almost every day. All right, but I'm all right. Let's get this. I know people call it a different thing. I just grew up calling this the tenderloin. That's what I guess my daddy and him called it. I don't know what you're supposed to call it. I done forgot the correct cut of meat it's supposed to be, and I think maybe I knew before. But we call this the tenderloin. Somebody help me out.
If y'all call it something else, let us know in the comments. It's that little spot that he's cutting out there.
It is a fine piece of meat. I'm gonna trim all that later.
Okay.
It is a fine piece of meat. I'm gonna put it with this back strap. Watch that dog right there.
Boy, he's watching.
Yeah, I seen that.
They hanging around, I tell
watch
you.
him.
Where he
Might have
is?
to close it. He ought to be full. You're kind of cutting this. You're just following the bone. You're cutting it almost like you did that back strap a while ago.
Your hands had a little chance to warm up when I was gone. I had to go check on my soup and put some wood on the fire
Yeah,
so it wouldn't go out.
my finger's bleeding.
So it took me a minute.
It's okay.
Okay, we're good. We're back in business.
Having a little bit of technical difficulty, but with our camera, the cord or something, so I don't know how this is going to come out, but right now I'm working on what I believe you would call the brisket on a bigger animal, the cut of meat. But like I said, I'm getting everything off of here. And this part, there's some more meat on there. I think I'm going to work on that when I work on the ground meat. I'm going to cut that off and
save it to get some off of later.
Right, I'm gonna
That way, it's time consuming.
yeah, that's the next stage of what I do. That's not part of this video, but all this is gonna be trimmed later. I'm gonna get all that off and trim it and clean it real good. I clean my meat real good and drain it, the water out, and trim it and make ground meat. All right, we're almost done. I'm gonna save that part because it's more meat on it than I want to give to the dogs or the chickens. Put that with the meat.
And trim on that a little bit later.
And this, I have 3 dogs. I'm gonna give them a snack later, but I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna save that because they got plenty. I don't want to overfeed them.
Okay, while you get that last piece off, I'm gonna go recover her. Okay, now that you got all that off, just down to the 2 hams.
Yeah, the 2 hind quarters. I'm just gonna continue splitting this with this knife till I hit bone.
I'll try to get at an angle where I can not block.
Now this part, somehow or another I cut a piece of meat that I didn't want to cut. I got to work on the privates there, but I got it out. All right, I'm gonna save that meat here. And I'm gonna split him. Let me spray that off one more time because I see some deer hair. All right, I am going to split him down the middle. And what I usually do, so this, well, we're not gonna make a roast out of this. I was gonna say I usually cut the bone down here so it's not so big and cut this piece of meat off for ground meat, but I'm gonna do all that later. I'm gonna just go ahead and split him down the middle. That's what I do next. And I'll show you.
So now you got your 2 hind quarters there. And spraying it again. It's a lot of spraying involved.
Yeah, when I clean deer.
Got to try to keep it clean.
When I clean deer, it's kind of like when I cook. There's a lot of stirring involved when I cook. And when I'm skinning a deer, there's a lot of spraying involved. Now this part, you don't have to get too close. Maybe, Mama, I'm cleaning out the rest of the private parts and the glands.
The nasty stuff's coming off. Get all that out of there.
And this one.
Yeah, you definitely don't want no glands in there.
Yeah, and we're gonna trim all that too better later too.
Look, grab this little piece. I see a little piece
I'm
of
gonna get
skin
it.
right there.
Okay, I'm usually working by myself, so my little method that I've devised over the years to do this without having anybody hold it. I remember we used to take like a grocery bag, we call them Walmart bags and plastic bags, and we'd wrap it with the bag and somebody would hold it and then we'd cut it off. But
and that worked really good.
yeah, but I've been doing it this way. Where's that saw? Let me spray it off. Okay, here's what I do. I take that off of there. And I set it in my ice chest. And 1 deer hind quarter. Man, that's heavy. He was a big deer. Okay. Well, that's how we do it, folks, at Louisiana Homestead. I'm going to take this, bring that in the outdoor kitchen. Some of it I'm going to pack on ice because I can't debone it all in one day. I might wrap some like the back strap and stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother ordeal. But that's how we skin it and quarter it. And we're gonna go take care of the rest and we'll let you guys go. All right, y'all, that wraps up our little deer skinning episode. If y'all like this video, y'all let us know. What you think, Mom?
Yep, I'm glad y'all joined in with us, and I hope y'all might have learned a little something, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Hope we didn't bore y'all. Y'all keep taking care of each other, keep praying, and y'all like and subscribe. Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.